It's fantastic. I believe I can do it.
This is the target. Everybody's in the sport to win.
If you want to go right round the world, you build one of these cars.
This is Tony Delahunty welcoming you after the mud and rain of China to the FIA World Rally Championship, which heads for the sun of the Mediterranean. Round 12 of the series is based in the medieval coastal city of Sanremo in Italy. Once a rival to Monte Carlo, the historic town is still a mecca for the rich and glamorous. The character of the city, with its cultural background and warm climate, has made it a year-round centre for tourists. Quiet streets and typical Italian spirit and vitality made a perfect setting for this crucial round of the series, but the perfect setting will be marred by a sad announcement.
Toyota has decided not to enter the WRC next year, and that the focus of our activities and our efforts will change.
It's actually a pity for me, especially because I started my career with them in the World Championship. My first victory was with them, my first World Championship was with them, and obviously for me especially it's sad.
I am a little bit disappointed, but okay, I mean, what we can do, so life continue.
I think that it's a very understandable decision that Toyota has made. We have been 25 years in rallying, we have enjoyed a lot of success, and I think like everything else in life, you look for a new challenge.
It's like Ferrari leaving Formula One, almost unimaginable. But leg one will be fought in the hills behind Sanremo. The old tarmac rally could present surprises as the stages of leg two are particularly narrow and windy. Mäkinen and Oriol are tied at the top of the championship, but Mäkinen's greater number of wins means he will be first on the road. With only 3 rounds of the series to go, there are still 5 drivers who could win the title.
The first stage is going like that, going up like that, but 70 it's so difficult and you cannot do any reconnaissance at all. It's so difficult, and you are maybe at 7 kilometer maximum speed, and which is totally ridiculous. I don't understand.
Yeah, still a call with a 2-minute penalty imposed for riding a stage on his mountain bike. Mäkinen first off the ramp, equal with Oriol on 48 points. He won here last year and will be aware that a win here will be difficult, as both Peugeot and the Formula 2 Citroëns could easily spring a surprise. Following his retirement in China, the Finn has seen his lead eroded by the following pack. De Charisma has not excelled on tarmac this year, but Mäkinen had finished and picked up points in Corsica and Catalonia. In car with him.
Oikein nopea puskivi sisällä, heti risteys suoraan 5. Oikein täys 100, serpo oikein tiukahko.
However, a consistent and faultless drive gave him a time of 58 minutes 9.9 seconds after stage 5.
Well, I'm not quite happy at the moment. It was some little problems beginning, and then second stage all the water came into the car from the water tank, and it was like a swimming pool.
Meanwhile, the Corolla of Didier Oriol set off to topple Mäkinen from the top of the leaderboard. Oriol knows that following the departure of Toyota from World Rally, he'll be starting again with a new manufacturer next year. Let's go aboard with him. Having won here in 1991 and 94, he is one of the most successful drivers in the Sanremo Rally.
No big problems. Diddy had an interesting moment 4 kilometres from the end of stage 4. Diddy just commented that he looked up just to see trees going past. I guess it was quite an interesting moment, but the level is such, you know, the competition, that the drivers are just really absolutely on the very edge the entire time. It's fabulous.
And weather conditions could dramatically affect the rally. Dry conditions at the foot of the hills could change to rain and mist at the top. Huge gains and losses can result from the wrong tyre choice. Stage 2 was wet over the last 2 kilometres, and Oriol lost nearly 10 seconds on the Finn. He gradually eroded the gap, and by the end of stage 4 he was less than 2 seconds adrift. Carlos Sainz has never won in Sanremo, a fourth last year, just 2 seconds behind McRae, would normally have left him confident of at least a podium finish, but the dark horses of the Peugeot and Citroëns would be in his mind. And like Oriol, Sainz lost time on stage 2. The power on turbocharged engines can be affected by altitude, and Sainz had complained about lack of performance on the hills. Like Oriol, Sainz knew this would be his last chance to win the series if they leave Toyota, because they have to now to find new drives. By the end of stage 4, he was marginally quicker than Mäkinen. Juha Kankkunen could still see the possibility of a record 5th world title. 11 points behind Oriol and Sainz, he would need a good result to close the gap. The Subarus with their Pirelli tyres had proved they can win on gravel, but on tarmac the performance has not been good. Dave Richards talking it through. However, the team were optimistic of success with the Subaru on such great form recently. It was clear from the beginning that the car could not get to grips with the twists and turns in the mountains, and Kankkunen progressively lost time, eventually finishing stage 4 nearly 1 minute behind Sainz. In the second Subaru, the only 2 points adrift from his teammate, Richard Burns. The Subaru was not handling well, Burns complaining that the setup was not sharp enough, but he managed to stay in touch with the leaders. He would find it tough to stay in the top 6. Colin McRae and Nicky Griss, with a reputation of all or nothing, come to Sanremo knowing that the Focus has proved it can be quick. In car will go with the Flying Scotsman.
And 6 left line, and 6 right minus, and right tightens the 3 plus line. Into long 3 left plus open, 70.
Having set the fastest time on virtually every event this year, they've also had a number of retirements. Finishing in Italy will be their top priority. Despite needing adjustments to the anti-roll bar, the Focus was consistently fast and finished ahead of Sainz by 5 seconds. After the first 6 cars through, the top 4 looked like this. McRae led, followed by Sainz, Mäkinen and Oriol. The Peugeot of François Delacour was next on the road and could certainly upset the balance in the championship.
64 mètres droite à fond, bref, 50 mètres droite à fond, 50 mètres gauche à fond, bref, 100 mètres droite à fond, long, à 20 mètres, 85 en épingle.
But he had a 2-minute penalty hanging over his head.
After a couple of weeks, the judgment would be given by the appeal court of International Automobile Federation, and that François is in the rally.
And a reminder, of course, that was for riding a stage on a bicycle. Piero Lietti and the Pirelli Shod Seat was next out, but like his teammates Rovanperä and Gardemeister, dramatically lost touch with the leaders with understeer. They would be using the rally to prepare for their full season in 2000. In the second Peugeot, Gilles Panizzi.
Droite 95 plus corde, dans gauche 90 bref. Droite à fond, sur gauche à fond, corde. Droite à fond court, 80 mètres, droite 95 de plus. 60 mètres, droite 95 et 30 et 20 mètres.
And believe it or not, he's enjoying that. He followed in his teammates' wheel tracks, even though regularly complaining about his brakes. He consistently beat Delacour's times. The Peugeots were proving dramatically quicker. The testing that the team had put in was paying off, but they would be robbing championship points from the series leaders. Panizzi finished stage 4 ahead. Following a 5-day test in Italy, Skoda started with some confidence. However, Armin Schwarz has not contested the rally since 1994. The Citroën of Filip Bogalski was out next. He had proved earlier in the year he could win the lightweight Formula 2 cars quicker on the dry tarmac. He was third overall. The two-wheel drive Citroëns passing the four-wheel drive Skoda. The third Peugeot of Marcus Gronholm was straight into the top three. That we'll see coming up in just a moment. And the top four, Panizzi, Delacours, Bogalski and Gronholm. In Formula 2, Alistair McRae will be looking to gain experience for his attempt on the WRC title next year. With his teammate Kenneth Eriksson, they were still hoping to beat Renault, who were 18 points ahead in the 2-litre Manufacturers' Championship. At the end of the leg, the leaderboard was as follows. Panizzi at the top, Delacour, Bogalski, Gronholm, Colin McRae in 5th place, and Carlos Sainz still up there in 6th position. Lots more to come. That's after 5 stages. We move on with stage 6 right after the break.
A better, easier, more beautiful and active life. Curious? www.comein.net.
Back to the FIA World Rally Championship with
Michelin. The more we progress, the further you go.
Well, we rejoined Sanremo, special stage 6, and in action, the Spaniard Carlos Sainz, third in the Drivers' Championship, and he's forced to really try very hard indeed to follow the Peugeots in the first stage, or rather I should say the final stage of the day. He was really taking it right on the limit, 10 tenths or maybe even a little bit more, but Sainz knows that he's got to push. He's in 6th position at the moment. The Spaniard using literally all of the road, and he used the trees and the terrain as well, and the car down there. He was a little bit unlucky starting off where he did. He was very fortunate to come out unharmed. It was quite a big accident.
I thought it was going, this time I thought it's going to be a big one. That's all, hoping that it's stopping soon.
And when you saw the trees, were you happy to think?
I did not have time to see it. It was very fast.
It must say something, though, for the strength of the car that you can walk away from an accident which maybe 20 years ago you couldn't have done.
Yeah, I must say the car took it very well. Took it very. It's a few big impacts. We got big trees, but the car seems to be quite strong.
That accident was a really big disappointment for Carlos Sainz in the World Championship chase. He was third, 10 points behind Tommi Mäkinen and Didier Auriol.
For me, the championship, it was very difficult, so I have to push. I was pushing. Actually, I was going quite well, I think, but I never expect what's happened.
Well, on the fight for the World Championship title, Tommi Mäkinen and Didier Auriol had been head-to-head all day. Not for the victory, but for a place between 3rd and 7th. Auriol with the Toyota. Now Tommi Mäkinen in action, winner of the Sanremo Rally in '98. Last year he was leading after the first leg, and he's now not in such a comfortable position. This evening, Tommi Mäkinen, for him, is in a lowly 6th place. And the hills here are just about the only parts of the special stages that aren't followed by hordes of fans. But as he comes up to the top of them, they'll certainly be there as well. Didier Auriol, Mäkkinen's current main rival for the title. Auriol didn't take a good place as well. He's one behind Mäkkinen in 7th this evening. Last year he was 3rd after the first leg. But the margin between the two guys is, well, blink and you'd miss it. It's only 1.2 seconds. So Auriol not worried at the moment. He knows he's got 2 full days to go. Some classic corners on the special stages at Sanremo. Some excellent places to watch. 1 or 2 places where the crowd aren't quite as well behaved as they are around there, and some rather astonishing places at times for cars to be parked. Let's hear from Didier Auriol.
Okay, I lose about 10 seconds this morning. Is the first day there's some complaining about the car, but now the car feel okay. So it's mean tomorrow it's a very long day and very, very hard, and I think harder than today. So I think tomorrow it's another business.
Well, there is work to do for the mechanics, and I think as well as Didier Auriol, Tommi Mäkkinen will feel that changes will now need to be made for the second leg.
We've been playing a little bit with car setting. We made some mistake with right height setting, and I haven't been very happy for the car setting. I'm sure we can make it better for tomorrow, but still I tried to do my best what I could, and I wasn't, of course I follow all the others, but I try to go flat.
Well, Scotland's Colin McRae is 5th tonight. He's been 4th on this special stage 6. He has to score some points soon. In the last 5 WRC events, well, he hasn't done so. Classic McRae and Nicky Grist style, really going for it all the time. As I say, 4th quickest he will end up on this special stage 6, the final of the first leg in Sanremo. And of course tomorrow and on the final day there'll be coverage on the British Eurosport of the Sanremo Rally round of the World Rally Championship. The next car we'll be picking up will be Filip Bogalski. They're in the service park. Bogalski 4th tonight. The Frenchman started as one of the favourites for this rally. He's won easily the last 2 previous tarmac rallies. Let's hear from him. I think tomorrow the stage will be hardest for us. The leg is not so good for us, but not so bad that it has been in the past. He's referring to the stages of the first day. I would like to say we still have a chance tomorrow. There are still 2 days to race, so we'll see on Wednesday afternoon. But it's certainly the Peugeots that are starting to show through. Gilles Panizzi, leader after special stage 5, starting the final stage. More after the break.
Sports Centre, every day.
To get underway there. And really the Peugeots starting to dominate. And the incredible news of the day is that, in fact, Peugeots will take 1st, 2nd and 3rd at the end of the first leg of round 12, the Sanremo Rally in Italy. First will be this man, Francois Delacour, but of course he has to face yet the FIA stewards' inquiry in 2 weeks' time to decide whether he could be disqualified from the rally. As we said earlier, his problem being that he rode one of the special stages on a bicycle. Be very interested to see what the findings of the FIA will be of that, but at the end of the first day he puts himself on top of the pile. Yesterday is an old story now. I think we are very concentrated for the rally. For Peugeot, it's euphoria. It's so rare to get 3 cars leading in a World Rally Championship event. It is something that is extra special. Gilles Panizzi was leading since the special stage 3 and he lost the first place. He finished 5th of the final stage. Tonight he's 2nd.
Personne n'est à l'abri d'une panne, mais pour l'instant on a 3 voitures qui sont les mieux placées possibles, sans aucune alerte apparente.
Provera says nobody is sure to break down, but at the moment we are at the best place without alarm. We'll see how long we can stay in this situation. Imagine 1, 2, 3 on Wednesday at Sanremo. It seems too fantastic to be realistic. I don't wait for that, but for the moment we are un, deux, trois, first, second, third.
What we have done respect Corsica, we have had time to work a bit more on all the different components. So the car is a bit more setting up in suspensions, in differential, and I think this is the main difference respect Corsica. We haven't changed anything drastically on the car. It's just the way of setting the car.
So a delighted Peugeot team at the end of the first leg. We can have a look at that classification now. Just look at it. Delacour, Panizzi and Gronholm. Then Bogalski with the Citroën Xara. Car of some discussion. Colin McRae with the Ford Focus in there. Richard Burns in 8th. Didier Auriol. And the news in, if you just joined us on British Eurosport, that Toyota, yes, they're leaving the World Rally Championship to concentrate on Formula 1. And this man determined, Tommy Mäkinen. Sanremo is an asphalt event, the 4th and last after Monte Carlo, Catalonia and Corsica. All the other events are on gravel. That's why it's necessary for the team to set a car version asphalt.
Sur les routes asphalte, on trouve beaucoup plus d'adhérence que l'on a normalement.
On asphalt, we need a lot of grip, so we have to alter the suspension. Consequently, the cars are much closer to the road and the suspension limits the roll. The main difference is the tyre and the size of the wheel. They use bigger wheels on tarmac to lower the car.
La suspension est durcie pour
the cars brake harder on asphalt.
En fonction de l'adhérence.
We use a different size disc and different pistons. They made one big development to cool the discs.
La suspension va être modifiée pour avoir une voiture beaucoup plus basse et beaucoup plus dure qu'une voiture terre pour avoir un bon contrôle.
There's the disc you see. We have to work on that, and that is starting to work very well for us. It is a good development for the car. But it is something that we have yet to make certain is absolutely right. More work to do on the car. And don't forget, tomorrow we'll have stage 2, and then the following day, stage 3. So after leg 1, it's the Peugeots that clearly dominate. Can there be any answer to that? It doesn't look likely. Bogalski expects to go quicker on leg 2. Can the Toyotas start coming through? What can McRae and Grist do with the Ford Focus? Burns and Reed are back in 8th place. Mäkinen lies in 6th. End of the first leg. Delacour, Panizzi, Gronholm, Peugeot, Bogalski with the Citroën, then McRae in 5th, Mäkinen in 6th, Auriol in 7th, Burns in 8th, and 2 very hard days to go. Don't forget, it's back on British Eurosport for the next 2 nights. From me, Tony Delahunty, good night.
Rally. Just 69 stage miles today over 4 tests in a total distance of 217 miles. Central service again in Sanremo. Well, Colin McRae went off yesterday in a big way. He was very lucky indeed to get away with it.
Right minus gravel ruts into 5 left plus time 30, 6 left into turn 3 right minus of a crest and 6 right into 6 left. Aha.
We hit a small bump on the inside of a junction right which sent us broadside, and the back got over the bank and we just rolled onto a road going down on the opposite side of the junction. That's the way it happens, I'm afraid.
Colin McRae leaves Italy with no chance of the title. Well, there's the running order, with Panizzi being first on the road, and the weather forecast was raining. So falling leaves and greasy mud on the smooth tarmac would be a major factor. First victim of the day, Piero Liatti. And as you can hear, transmission failure was to blame. The winner here in 1996 and the second placed man last year is on for nil points this year.
In the start I broken the rear diff, and then it's not possible to go in this long stage because the engine they broken the rear diff and then stopped.
The cloud is hanging over the top of the mountain here, but still above us the road is actually in cloud.
At the start of special stage 15, the first today, Gilles Panizzi suffered a puncture, and with the mousse failing to work inside the tyre, he lost a little time. Panizzi had to ease off, but that was to the detriment of his lead that was now looking very precarious. A spin could make all the difference in Sanremo for Panizzi. Francois Delacour, his teammate, was still just 3 seconds behind in second place.
50 mètres. Gauche 100 à fond, 50 mètres. On va 110 long, ferme 95. Plus gauche à fond.
Delacour had a gearbox problem on the first stage this morning that made him concentrate on preserving the gearbox rather than preserving the tyres. And what happened then? Well, he got a puncture. He lost 20 seconds, but was still ahead of Panizzi. His mood reflected the weather.
I had a problem at the end with the right tire, you know. The right tire is gone, and after I had puncture, and also I have a problem with the gearbox.
Delacour came out of service after the first stage this morning, intent on beating his teammate on special stage 16.
Falling heavy, permanently heavy.
The rain continued to fall, but cruelly, electrical failure would end Francois Delacour's rally. Tommi Mäkinen was sensing victory, but only the skill of a 3-time world champion could drive at this pace in these conditions.
Pitkä Tuomasen plus 7. Pitkä Koikee plus 8.
Starting the day 20 seconds behind the Peugeots, he soon made that time up on the leaders.
Well, we are only 1.9 seconds behind of Panizzi, and of course I try to beat him, but of course I have to try to finish the stage as well.
So Panizzi leading, Tommi Mäkinen within 2 seconds of the lead in Sanremo. Mäkinen gambled on intermediate tyres, and although he lost a little time in the third of the 4 stages today, it was not too great a loss. It would be down to the last stage of the rally for the win. Oriol would have to rise to the challenge in the Toyota.
Gauche à fond, sur droite à fond, sur gauche à fond, corde derrière, sur piège, gauche 5 plus mur, attention intérieur, sur attention droite, 5 à voir, sur gauche à fond.
Oriol was 20 seconds back of Mäkinen in third. He had to do it, but he needed to pull all of the stops out.
Peugeots now are not so far, and we can't leave Tommy winning like that. You know, he will have 7 more points than us, and it's impossible. Eh?
Oriol pulled time on Mäkinen in 16, and then changed to intermediate tyres.
Léger droite à fond, sur droite à fond arbre, sur gros piège. 50 mètres attention, droite 5 attention tour, sur attention épingle droite à l'arbre, gros piège.
It was to come down to the last stage of the rally for the battle for the lead, and to see if Oriol could take second position away from the Peugeot of Gilles Panizzi. Was it going to be 6 points or 4 points for the Frenchman? Find out after the break.
With Valvoline, driving the world.
Fifth on the road was Belgian Freddy Loix, and the synergy of having a newly dedicated engineer at the service parks was working well.
En links 160 en vrij. Voor rechts dan wordt 75, rechts 70. Laat in. En 50, opgepast. Rechts 100, links sluit naar 100, om rechts 105. Links sluit naar 100, om rechts 105 en vrij.
He was 30 seconds ahead of Andrea Aghini, and he would be on course to bag some valuable points for Mitsubishi in the Manufacturers Series. Delacour's misfortune meant that Freddy Loix was now up into 4th position and on course for 3 points, as long as he saw the checkered flag there. Andrea Aghini used his local knowledge to the full and finished in 5th position. The Italian champion made use of that full knowledge and also made himself part of a very select few privateers who have scored points on rallies in '99. Simon Jean-Joseph was just 3 seconds off a points scoring place going into the last stage.
Donc gauche 72 long, ouvre. Donc droite 80. Donc gauche 75, donc droite 75, donc gauche à fond, sur.
Were it not for a puncture on the first stage this morning, Jean-Joseph could have been further up the order, but he had a 4-time world champion in the shape of Juha Kankkunen ahead of him in 6th, who was also well fired up for that last point. Battle for 6th between Kankkunen in 6th and Jean-Joseph just behind Kankkunen in 7th. One more stage to go. Well, whilst Kankkunen was battling with the Ford of Jean-Joseph for that 6th spot in the pouring rain, it was going to be down to a tyre choice. He was going for cuts in intermediates.
Half an hour before it starts. If we have no more rain, then we'll be correct with this thing. Well, let's just check what everybody else uses. Yeah. Well, that's the next thing. Simon, Jean-Joseph is the critical one. Who's watching him? John Spillers.
Jerry Freeman and David Richards' deep conversation worked, and Kankkunen stayed ahead of Jean-Joseph to finish in 6th position, 14 seconds ahead of the Focus. It was close. Marcus Grönholm could only hope for retirements after dropping down into the midfield order after problems with his Peugeot and a couple of crashes, but the Finn had impressed on tarmac. Into the last stage, a 24-miler. Panizzi had a 1.8 second advantage over Mäkinen. The Peugeot driver just had to get it home, but Mäkinen had to go for the win. Mäkinen did the stage of his life this afternoon, and he won the stage streets ahead of his rivals. Oriol had no chance of beating Mäkkinen's time, but couldn't quite find enough time on Panizzi. Mäkkinen had done it, and the Sanremo rally had proved to be one of the most thrilling ever. This win in Sanremo for Mäkkinen is his 19th WRC win, and his...
It was definitely hardest. I was first day we were sixth, and yesterday we make some good times, and then we had some we lost 20 seconds, and I thought now it's definitely impossible to beat them, and then today first stage today was so good. We beat so much these guys that makes it possible.
So Gilles Panizzi finishes in second place, and although he was leading into that final stage, he's not disappointed.
Mettre une 206 sur la deuxième marche du podium, je crois qu'on peut tous être très satisfaits de ce résultat. C'est vrai qu'on est resté longtemps en tête entre François et nous. C'est vrai que la première journée il y avait. To finish with the 206 on the podium, I'm very satisfied. It's true that we had the lead for a long time, but of course we're very satisfied about the potential of the car. The car is performing very well, but we need the experience. Tommy and his team have this experience. They know their car very well, and they take some risks, and some of their choices turn out good, but we need a little time. Oriol therefore finishes third, but is he unhappy at losing 6 points to Mäkkinen?
I'm not disappointed. I mean, it's a race. I think we did a very good race. I have really tried hard. Mäkkinen has done also a fantastic race, and my only complaint was about the engine for this rally. I was not very happy by the power, but after that the car was fantastic.
So for Tommy Mäkkinen, a win couldn't have come at a better time in his entire career, as he now has that advantage over Oriol with 2 rallies left. For 2 years in a row, Mäkkinen has won in Sanremo, and again proved that the team is ultra competitive in a Group A car over the WRC Specials. If you haven't gone round the block in an Evo 6, do it.